Hello and welcome to Cash In on IT, your go-to podcast for all things information technology at MCC. My name is Art Brown. I'm the Dean of IT at MCC, and I'm thrilled to guide you on this exciting journey through the dynamic world of IT. Together, we'll explore the latest trends, innovations, and success stories within our department, giving you an insider's look at what makes our IT community thrive. Throughout our various episodes, we'll shine spotlights on incredible talent of our faculty, dedication of our staff, and some of the ambitious spirits of our students. Welcome you to sit back, relax, listen to our seasoned IT professionals and aspiring students as we begin this journey on our podcast. Welcome again to another episode of Cash In on IT. My name is Art Brown, and I serve as the Dean of IT at MCC. Today, I'm happy to have another one of our students join me in this episode, Noah Lawrence. Noah, so happy to have you here today. So we're going to talk to Noah about his MCC experience and what's happening with him in IT and what's going on. So again, Noah, glad to have you. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your story, your backstory, and what brought you here to MCC?
Yeah, sure. So throughout high school, I was always pretty good in school, never applied myself. I was the kind of person who just, I read the study guide the day before the test comes out and just get by as I could. Cool. I was in a dual enrollment program, and then we ended up moving throughout my senior year. That's also when COVID hit. So, things went to online classes, and then I did half my senior year online, half in person over at Millard South. Okay. And I just kind of never really applied myself. I never enjoyed school. So straight from there, I became a conductor at Union Pacific, moved to Denver, Colorado, started working, then switched to becoming a carman. And after inhaling, welding fumes and blowtorching metal, working with steel, getting burned up, and after a while, I got sick of it, and I was like, I was good at school. Yeah. And I never really enjoyed it because there was no incentive. I just kind of had to go there, and I got an A on a paper. It didn't actually financially benefit me. And as being an adult on my own, that matters a lot more. So I figured, why not apply myself in school, something I was naturally good at, in order to see the financial benefit that I was getting at, my last job. Right. And I could support myself using my brain rather than my bronze.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So Noah, tell us about specifically. So you've been in the world, graduated from high school, had some real world experience, decided to come back to MCC. Let's talk about specifically what you're studying here at MCC now.
Right now, obviously working with IT, looking kind of to go into networking more so. Okay. It's just what holds my interest, and we actually have a few family friends who do some Cisco Advanced Networking. Okay. And since I've been here, right now I'm enrolled in Intro to IT, PC repair, which is next door. Right. With Professor Rosas, and then workplace skills for IT professionals. Gotcha. So this is my first semester. I'm just really starting off. And then whenever I was in dual enrollment before, it was nothing this focused. It was just biology. English, things of that nature.
Gotcha. So you're getting a lot more applied learning now.
And it's really nice having everything that I'm doing currently in IT, specifically because I can learn things in one class. Yes. It benefits me in another class, and it's really cool. So I feel like I'm getting some levels of ahead. Right. Good to hear that. And then let's talk about, again, you've had that gap from high school to the work experience, and returning to college. Was it hard, or what do you, from coming with that transition period? Tell us about that if you can. It wasn't hard in the sense that it was hard to. Once I applied, it wasn't hard to actually get things going. MCC makes it very easy. But the hardest part was really just figuring out what I wanted to do. Like coming from railroading, that was cool and all, but that I'm not trying to do physical labor anymore. So I ended up, my first application was actually into something in the medical field. It was for a medical program here at MCC. And I was on a beach in Thailand after just quitting my job and moving back to Omaha with my brother. I told my brother, I was like, hey man, I just got my acceptance letter. He was like, oh man, it's fantastic, you should take it. And I was like, I don't think this is the one. I think I want to do like IT. So got back home, or I actually rejected that letter, applied for IT, which that was a very risky game to play there. Got approved, came back, and I was ecstatic. And ever since then, it's just been uphill.
Good to hear.
It's been fantastic.
Gotcha. And so you mentioned, you're doing workplace skills for IT, is that correct? And then PC repair. Maybe from each of the class, one or two takeaways that you've had so far with this first return that you might want to share?
even in a controlled environment, not everything is going to go as expected.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Today's issue, you know, everyone's logged on to their virtual machine, and everyone's pulled up to, you know, changing the servers and things like that. And somebody took my workstation server.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you got to learn how to, even whenever everything's supposed to be right and everything's supposed to be going correct, things aren't going to go right, and you have to make those adjustments on the fly, which really leans towards adaptability. And especially in PC repair, you have to have that adaptability, which is something we talk about a lot in workplace skills for IT professionals. Is the soft skills and the hard skills. You know, hard skills is I know how to take apart a computer and reset the BIOS password by doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But the soft skills is, do you have the adaptability? Do you have the problem-solving skills to know that, hi, I may not have created this issue since I booted up this PC. It could be someone else entirely, could be an entirely different thing.
Right.
But I have to figure out what's going on in order to get back on track to fix the original problem.
Right.
So having one class that kind of leans more into how do you go about doing that? How do we develop those soft skills? How do we make the changes we need to make in order to benefit you when you're on the go, just trying to knock out your tasks as they come in? And the other one is how do we actually go about knocking out those tasks?
Right.
So it is very, very beneficial. And I think in my case specifically, just with the 3 classes I've chosen, it gives me a little upper hand, because every time I do a week's worth of assignments, I might get, you know, an extra 2-3 days in another class forward. So it's been benefiting me very well.
Yeah, very cool. And so I've heard, you know, how you apply the interpersonal collaborative skills that you gained from workplace workplace. I should know our class. Yeah, forgive me. And then your PC repair. I've got so many classes I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
And then you know, maybe talk about some of the You gave a little sampling dealing with the situation with virtual machines today. You know, someone that again is thinking about coming to MCC. You know, how would you describe our facilities, the equipment, resources we provide to students, and then just, you know, the level of engagement, if you can share with that applied learning class that you're taking?
I've been to a previous community college. Like I said, it might not have been as focused in towards what my end goal is trying to, you know, what degree I'm trying to get or what certifications I'm trying to get. But in comparison, MCC is fantastic.
Good.
I mean, the resources that you have here, even on Canvas, I know a lot of the issues with online work is mostly, you know, I don't have the availability. I work full time. If I'm not a young person coming out of just high school who might still be living with their parents, you're probably working full time. You're probably doing other things. MCC allows you to work around that schedule. Right now, I work full time, go to the gym full time, and I still have one in-person class. Everything else is online. But with the resources specifically for the online classes, I mean, you get as good as it can. I could explain to you how to take apart a computer, or I could say, hey, click this link, Art, and please go ahead and go to this virtual machine with assistance, and then do it without assistance, and see if you actually learned and retained the information from what you just went through. Once you do that, I want you to answer a discussion question. And you're going to discuss with your peers, and you know, discuss what issues were you having, and go look at other people. They may be having the same issues, and they might have resolved it an entirely different way that you didn't even think of. And just from doing that, I think that process of learning it, testing your learning, reviewing the knowledge, and discussing the knowledge, you really get, like, it feels like you're just in a classroom setting, even if you're reading the discussions, in my case, like 11 o'clock at night, after you've got home from being out since 9 a.m. You can still get the full classroom setting experience. So
I love that.
I get a lot from that too.
Good, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, so it sounds like you made a relatively easy transition from work back to school, and sounds like your classroom experiences have been good. I know our paths crossed initially. We met at an orientation, and then we were coming in today. You gave me some good news. I kind of want to chime in on that, because so I'll let you, maybe I'll tell the backstory. We met at an orientation, briefly spoke, and you mentioned you were interested in IT. And I think if I recall the story correctly, you had to step away quickly because you had an opportunity. So yeah, if you want to share, if you don't mind, please.
So at that time that I had actually been set to come to orientation, I still wasn't 100% like just focused on making sure everything lines up, everything's perfect. I accidentally scheduled my interview the same day orientation popped up. I got my dates mixed up.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I ended up applying for a position as a leasing agent. I don't have any sales experience. I just figured first thing that comes up is an office gig.
Right.
And while I'm working on IT, I guess I'll be the office IT guy, quote unquote, until I can move up to one of those positions. Which actually, another fun development is after last week we had an IT issue, and we couldn't even get into contact with the help desk. Put it that way. It was the same day that Verizon had their outage, and everyone in the office had Verizon. So not the best, and I had to basically just end up fixing what I could, just at least getting the phone lines working, because our phones in the office were T-Mobile. Just making sure the phone lines are working and some other stuff. And in doing so, once we did get a hold of the IT team, they say thank you, and they're, hey, by the way, we need a IT guy out in Omaha. So if you're looking to go from leasing agent to help desk or something of that nature, go ahead and give our boss a call. So still communicating with them a little bit.
But
and
an opportunity maybe in the mix.
An opportunity from an opportunity, right?
Cool, very cool. I'm glad to hear
now
that.
It's going towards what I'm actually trying to do.
So that initiative, I'm hoping some of those collaborative skills you learn here and beyond in your prior life. So very cool. I'm glad to hear those successes for you. You've given a lot to our audience here. Any final parting comments you might want to share for someone that was maybe in your shoes, maybe contemplating their next steps in life, and why, anything else you can add to why MCC might be a good start for them?
Yeah. So it doesn't matter how scared you are to go ahead and do it. But put it to yourself this way: if I'm doing what I'm currently doing right now with the current keys I have and the doors in front of me, am I going to get everything I want out of these next few years of my life?
Right.
Or, if I take this risk now, if I just apply, if I try and do it, I could do this and completely reinvent myself as a person.
Right.
I could change my entire life. I could change the life of my family. I could put myself in a situation that no one in my family history has even thought about being in. Definitely take the risk. Gotcha. You are capable of more than you even know. And our biggest judges are ourselves. Right. My biggest issue right now, and I'm not afraid to admit this because we've already addressed this, especially at orientation, is that imposter syndrome feeling.
Right.
I didn't actually know I was going to be interviewing today for this podcast. Professor Rosa C said, hey, I just need a volunteer. And in my head, I'm like, thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm going to college now, doing more, trying to do more. I don't care what it's volunteering for. Right. Let's volunteer. Let's see what's up.
I love it.
So raised my hand, and he was like, okay, you can be on the podcast. I'm freaking out, scared of this. Worried, what is he going to ask me? What if I don't remember? What if I blank out? Right. I've managed to carry myself this far through it.
You've done very well.
Without stressing, without struggling. And that's just me doubting myself. Right. Even in class, that imposter syndrome feeling where I might see, an abbreviation I don't know. And everybody else, I hear everyone clicking on their keyboards and I'm not there yet. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Don't be afraid of that. Yeah. You're judging yourself. I'm scared of myself. Right. This has been nothing but a pleasurable experience. And being here and constantly having to remind myself, hey, you have no reason to be scared. Gotcha. Thousands have come before you. Thousands will come after you. True. You've got this. That's the number one thing that makes or breaks. Because I wasn't able to do that for years. And, even while I was sitting there in negative 30 degrees, bundled up with 4 layers, trying to change a brake pad out on the train wheel, I would constantly sit there and think like, man, I wish I went to college. But I was like, why would I think about it? Just go. Just get out and go. It's not going to get better from sitting here just doing it every day. Go.
I love it. I love your story.
Got to get out and go.
I'm happy to have another student guest join us, Chandler McNichols, and Chandler's going to share a little bit about his pathway and journey at MCC.
Yeah, well, I took a break after high school. Okay. About 5-6 years. Okay. At first, I wanted to go to school right out of high school. Wasn't too sure, so I just took a break, ended up turning into a longer break, and then I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go to school. And I always knew that I wanted to be in IT, so I decided to take the IT route. And that brought me here to MCC, and here I am.
Gotcha. Thank you. So can you share with me and the audience specifically what area of IT are you interested in and what are you studying right now?
Yeah, cybersecurity. Just I'm studying for my associates in IT general, but I'm really interested in cybersecurity. I think I would be a good fit to become a cryptographer one day.
Very cool.
And yeah, that's just what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
In my first year.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for sharing. And then one of the primary reasons we're doing this podcast is to kind of not only share with other prospective students what this might look like at MCC. So can you recall like maybe some of the classes you've taken as of recent and currently, some of the likes, challenges you may have run into, et cetera. So maybe what are you taking right now? What are you enrolled in?
Right now, I am just enrolled in PC repair.
Okay.
Next semester, I'll be taking Cisco 3 and PC repair 2 in the IT side of things. But I have really enjoyed Cisco.
Gotcha.
I took Cisco 1, Cisco 2, and they are kind of challenging, but if you want to be in the network side of IT and you enjoy IT or feel like you enjoy it, I think it's something that's really good for you. You learn a lot, and it's really hands-on. The instructor is really my instructor. I really enjoy him, Chris Chisholm, and he's very knowledgeable, and I've learned a lot. But yeah.
Gotcha. And so part of your story, if you can elaborate on, so you mentioned, graduated high school, took a break, worked a while, and have decided to come back. How's that transition been, if we can go back a few steps?
Oh, it's been excellent. It's been really good. Coming into Metro has been very welcoming and been very helpful from everybody. I've had a lot of help, and everybody's really nice and respectful and very knowledgeable, and if you have any questions, they will definitely answer them for you and help you out as to the top, and they'll go above and beyond. And it's been really easy for me, actually, easier than I thought. So that's
good.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully easy as far as adjustment, but let's talk, let's kind of take that thought and classroom rigor or level of rigor, I guess I would say. Can you talk about that, about what students might expect coming into a classroom?
Well, it's definitely not high school. And if you're taking a break, it will be a little bit of adjustment, needing. But it's honestly not that hard. And it's honestly easy for me, at least, I would say. I enjoy school. I have always enjoyed school. It's always been kind of easy for me, so I don't have many troubles. But I do know if you need tutoring, if you need outside help, they will. Everybody will provide it to you.
Good to hear.
So it's actually way easier than it may seem.
Gotcha. And so, again, I'm digging a little bit deeper. You mentioned it's not high school, and so maybe for that adult learner that's returning. That's maybe taking a break from high school, or that graduate right out of high school. Can you maybe share a couple of differentiating traits that might be here at MCC that may have been different from that prior learning experience?
Well, it is college, and you have to take it a little more seriously. But I would say if you are interested and you are motivated, you can definitely get the work done. You have kind of not as much leeway in terms of like homework and stuff like that, but it's definitely something that can be done, and I would say is worth it, especially going here and attending MCC. It's definitely worth it, and I wouldn't let anything negative hold you back from returning to college or coming to college if you haven't ever been.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing. And I know our paths have crossed. We've met in our recent career fair. To that point, can you talk about or share with the audience support? You mentioned some of the wraparound services. We have tutoring and other supports, but can you talk about the career experience and support you've encountered so far?
Yeah, actually, I have really enjoyed my experience. here at MCC, just career-wise, because, ultimately that's what you go to college for, is to find a career. And the career fair recently was a huge help for me. I made about 5 or 6 connections with, 5 or 6 really good connections with some companies that are really interested in me, and I'm really interested in them. And actually, the career fair led to a interview with a company that I am now waiting to hear back from, and it's looking good. They really like me. I really like them. Good. And along with my friend working for them, I was able to reference him, which helped a lot. So things, I'm about a year in the MCC now, and I'm now starting to see the positives and the real world, the real world aspect of everything coming together for me in terms of just getting a career in the IT industry. And I would say MCC will definitely help you find internships, and they will definitely help you find what you need to, jump into the career that you want to get into.
That's good to hear. Good. And let's see, so you're about halfway through your program. You mentioned your maybe mid to long-term career objectives. Any other educational steps after MCC that you thought about too that you might want to share?
If needed, I would definitely go to university and pursue a bachelor's, master's, just depending on how life pans out. Right. But if I don't, I am for sure going to be going for certifications in the IT field, and
Sounds good. Okay. And anything, I'm always going back and forth. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more? I'm hopeful that career fair was helpful. It opened up some network connections for you. Was there anything we were able to do, I hope, to better prepare you for the interviews that you have had since the career fair? And anything you can share on that topic would be helpful too.
My workplace skills for IT professionals class that I took definitely helped. Okay. I think confidence is probably the most important thing when it comes to finding a job and finding entering into the career field. And it definitely helped with my confidence, building resumes and learning about cover letters and just in general, just confidence is the word that comes to mind when I think of, it really brought a lot of confidence to myself and my spirit when it comes to okay, I can actually get an IT job and get into the field with MCC's help.
Gotcha. Good to hear. And I'll share with the audience, had the privilege of observing you. We did speed interviews during our career fair, and you had a chance to present yourself, an elevator pitch of sorts, to several employers. Can you share with the audience, what was that experience like for you? And it sounds like it may have helped to further strengthen the confidence you've already had or been able to build upon. Yeah,
it was definitely nerve-wracking at first, but after the first speed interview, I definitely started to notice how much progress I've made in a very little amount of time. And I made great connections with countless companies, and MCC really did the job for me, really helped me out with just knowing what to say, knowing how to carry myself, knowing what to put onto my PowerPoint presentation. And I'm really thankful and grateful for MCC because, without them, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to even be there and meet the companies. And, I really just think that they did a beautiful job of setting me up for success.
Okay, good to hear that. Thank you. Is there anything else you might like to share? Again, prospective students, you said a lot, and I think you've said some really great things. If I, looking back again from what that high school student or someone that's been in the workforce, any parting comments you might want to share with them as they're thinking their next steps?
Yeah, I would say if IT is your thing, or if just having a good job in general is your thing, or you find yourself a little nerdy, I think that taking the IT route at MCC is a really good idea, and you should definitely not let anything waver you off that path, because all in all, everything is set up for you to succeed here at MCC as long as you put the work in and you remain confident and just believe that it'll all work out. It will definitely work out for you. Don't let anybody or anything tell you that it won't, because it definitely can and will if you just put the work in. So,
thank you, Chandler. Thanks for sharing your story. So glad to hear, and we're definitely going to stay in touch with your upcoming job opportunities. So, so glad to hear you're having successes early on.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be connecting with you soon, Chandler. Thank you. Thanks. Nate, pleasure to have you with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you started on your journey at MCC?
Yeah, of course. I am a sophomore in college.
Okay.
I'm taking a computer science major.
Okay.
What got me started is in high school, I was in Avenue Scholars program.
Okay.
And they introduced us to MCC, and we took a few classes. And it wasn't like, it was just our gen eds, but because of how it went, I thought it went really well. I liked how we did it, and I decided to join MCC because of it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Can you share with the myself and the audience what specific classes you're taking at this time?
Yeah, so right now, what I like to do is I like to spread up my classes.
Okay.
So I'll take like 2 of my major classes and then a gen ed. And so right now I am taking a PC repair.
Okay.
And then a IT comp, one of the 2. There's a lot.
Yes, there are.
And then I'm just taking a speech class also.
Gotcha. Well, let's focus in on your IT classes. So let's PC repair, kind of the setting we're in here now for our audience, and tell us a little bit about that experience. Like, what are you doing in the classrooms on a typical day? Kind of what is the class format? And yeah, let's start there.
All right, so what we typically do is we'll have a talk, and then we'll do in-person activities with him.
Okay.
And so how he'll go about it is he'll like give us a lecture about whatever we're learning that day, and then he'll go through the assignments with us and like basically show us what it has to offer, what we're learning, what we're doing, and then he'll just let us do it.
Gotcha. And can you recall any recent classroom lectures or labs that have really stood out for you as of recent?
I would say last lecture really stood out for me. We mainly talked about doing virtual machines, and I struggle with that sometimes.
Right.
So that's the reason why it stood out to me. Today, what we did is he went over using different utilities and programs to track traffic over the internet.
Okay. Gotcha. And what did you like about that lab exercise or lecture?
The fact that when we're going through the instructions, it's not just do this, do that. It will tell us to do stuff, but it will prompt us with like either a reasoning or an explanation or like definitions. So we're learning as we're going through it.
Okay.
And because it's a physical lab, I feel like I learn better that way.
Gotcha. So hands-on applied learning exercises. Okay. And I'm making some assumptions here, Nate. So are you fairly recently removed from high school, or have you been out of high school a while?
I've been out of high school for like a year.
Okay, gotcha. And if you can reflect, is this your journey here at MCC? Have you attended any other schools, or would this be your first college experience?
First college.
Gotcha. And comparing maybe high school, because a lot of our listeners are recent high school grads, or they've been in the workforce for a while, coming into our IT classes, what can you share about that transition, and how has it been for you so far?
For me, high school, you sit through 45-hour lectures, and then you got to do homework at home. Here at MCC, yes, they do give you lectures and teach you, but it's more of you figure it out by yourself, or like you do it at home. And I think that's just a lot like a better way for us to learn ourselves.
Right.
And the fact that a lot of our RT classes offer online versions. So even if you are like coming out of the workforce, or you still have to work but you want to get your degree, you could just do it online. And I think that's a lot better.
Great. And then you mentioned you're taking a second IT class in
Yes.
addition to your gen ed. Can you share a little bit about that experience? And
Yeah,
course?
and that experience mainly revolves around Cisco networking or Cisco Network Academy.
Correct, yeah.
And that one, what it is it gives you like a virtual, basically lab, basically. So you can add in different computers, different routers, switches, anything technology, and you can either set up it for DHCP, we could static it for any other items like it's wanting us to do. And so Cisco networking, the app like itself, I think is a great learning tool. And the fact that it helps us learn it now rather than later, I like that. And for me, these Cisco classes are, I would say, a little more challenging than the rest because it is only online and the only communication to your teacher is through email.
Right.
But it's kind of self-explanatory. It gives you instructions, it gives you resources, it gives you help options. So in case you do need it, you don't always need to go to your instructor.
Right.
And that's pretty nice.
Good, okay. So tell, myself and the audience, just to share again, keeping our target audience in mind, if I'm a prospective MCC student, specifically thinking about IT, is this something you would recommend to someone considering this pathway in general, IT, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe give me, of everything you've said, maybe a quick summary of 2 to 3 things of why you should choose MCC over maybe another pathway, another institution, and IT in general.
You should choose MCC mainly for, like, if you're going to IT, mainly for the ability to do it online.
Okay.
I think that is, like, the biggest pro to it. Everyone here is super nice and super helpful. Like, even if you are struggling and normally they don't give help, they can see how you are. They will help you if you really need it.
Okay.
And another reason why people should take it is because myself, I'm a little poor, so I don't have all the money I would need. But MCC here has a bunch of scholarships and money support systems that will definitely help you get your degree if you want it.
Gotcha. Good to hear. And then kind of going back a step, so maybe that student that says I'm not a good online learner or I prefer an on-campus classroom setting, can you talk about that experience that you've had in the classroom experience?
Yeah, so the experiences when I'm in the classroom, I've only had a few in-person classes, but whenever I'm in person, whenever like they're teaching, it's not like in high school, how it felt is they kind of just said the same thing over and over again. They weren't really talking to you, they were just talking to the class. But for this classroom, like, it kind of feels like he's talking to you, like mainly helping out you.
Okay.
And especially when we're going on our own, most of the teachers will walk around and like help out or watch out just in case. And that's a lot better than anything I've ever had in high school.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. And can you talk a little bit about your classroom experience? I know you're doing our A+ class right now. Student-teacher ratio, like, do you feel it's a good balance, the number of students compared to the teacher assigned to the course?
I would say yes. I do like the fact that we have about 1 to 2 student teachers coming in and helping with the teacher himself.
Okay.
And the reason why I like that is because when there's one teacher versus like 20 kids, you're going to have to wait a while for him to speak to you.
Right.
But when there's like 3 to 2, they're either on different sides or one of them is free. Okay. So I would say having more teachers, like 3, would be pretty well.
It's been helpful. Okay, good to know. And then let's kind of wrapping it up. So that the experience and knowledge you're getting here in an IT perspective, you mentioned computer science. Have you given some thought to like life after MCC and, what are those next steps, if you can?
So during my time in IT classes, I originally wanted to go for like security and coding, but more repair classes I'm attending, I'm kind of loving repairing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so after I get my associate, I will probably go for repairing.
Okay, there's a lot of career paths in that way for sure. So, good. And any parting comments for, again, our audience, listeners that, again, may be thinking, any last comments you might want to share with them? Just your overall MCC experience? From beginning to, cutting you off,
No, you're good.
From beginning to, how you got started, identifying your program, applying, and getting in classes, any big takeaways or just final recaps of what you said before?
When I first started here, I had the main idea of security, mainly because I didn't know what I wanted to go into. Mm-hmm. I just knew I wanted to go into the ID department. Mm-hmm. And so as I went through my classes and had different experiences with different types of technologies, mm-hmm. I would say I did find what I want to do. Good. And even though starting college might be scary or it might suck, mm-hmm. it's not as stressful as many put it out to believe. Mm-hmm. It's you work not at your own pace, but in a way you do work at your own pace. Mm-hmm. And so I would say don't really listen to what other people say about the college you're going to or how hard college is. Everyone's road is different.
Right.
Take a try.
Gotcha. I love that. Okay. Well, Nate, thank you so much. It's good to meet you.
Yeah, of course.
Best of luck to you, and hopefully your program goes well throughout the time here at MCC. Good luck to you. Thank you.